You spend your whole life working, sacrificing, breaking your back so your child can have a better future. Then, on the happiest day of his life, you're treated like you're nothing, mocked, humiliated, made to feel like a burden. But what if, in that very moment, you had the power to remind everyone that age doesn't erase worth, it sharpens it? My name's Frank, I'm 68 years old, and I spent 4 years working in a steel plant in a small Ohio town. My hands are scarred, my back is bent, and my mornings are quiet now. Every day starts the same. I brew my coffee, sit on my porch, and stare at the faded photograph of my late wife. The house feels emptier than it should, but the memories keep me company. I'm not a rich man, not a polished one either. I wear old work boots when I mow the yard. I still read the local paper instead of scrolling a phone, and yet, I thought I had something worth more than gold: respect. Respect from my family, especially from my son, Michael. But that belief shattered the night of his wedding, when his in-laws tried to grind me into the dirt. Michael was my world. After his mother passed away from cancer, I raised him on my own. I picked up every overtime shift I could, double, sometimes even triple. I missed Christmases, Thanksgivings, birthdays, just so he could have shoes on his feet and a shot at college. And he made it. He became a lawyer in Cleveland. When he told me about the woman he wanted to marry, Jessica, I smiled through my worry. I knew her family was wealthy, the kind that lived in gated communities and summered at country clubs, folks who'd never swung a hammer, never eaten bologna sandwiches on payday. From the first dinner I had with them, I knew what they thought of me. Her father shook my hand like he was touching dirt. Her mother looked at my suit like it was something pulled from a thrift store bin. I kept quiet, swallowing it, because Michael was in love. They spoke with sugar on their tongues but poison underneath. Michael, it's such a relief you won't have to worry about money anymore. Or well, Frank, you must be proud, considering where you came from. I let it go, for Michael, but the night of the wedding, their sneers cut deeper than steel ever had. And they didn't just whisper behind closed doors, they tried to make a spectacle out of me. The reception hall glowed with chandeliers. Michael looked handsome in his tux. I sat at a table near the back, watching with tears of pride, until I heard the whispers. Look at his suit, probably decades old. Hands like that shouldn't be near crystal glasses. And then, louder, so half the room could hear, well, at least Michael married into a family with some class. Laughter followed, my stomach clenched, my heart pounded, and the worst part, my son stood there, head bowed, saying nothing. He didn't defend me, didn't stop them, his silence screamed louder than their insults. I wanted to shout, to slam my fist on the table, but years of discipline kept me seated. I felt the weight of every calloused hand, every bone I'd broken to build his future, and in that moment, they erased it all, labeling me as nothing but a washed-up old man. But I am not nothing. They didn't know the truth. Years ago, when my wife's parents passed, they left us a piece of land outside of town. Everyone laughed at me for keeping it, swampland, they called it, worthless. But I quietly paid the taxes, year after year, because something in me believed it mattered. And I was right. 2 years ago, developers bought that land for more money than I'd ever seen in my life. I could have moved to Florida, bought a Cadillac, lived out my days in comfort, but instead, I built something better, a foundation in my wife's name, a fund to help widows, veterans, and the working families of my hometown. I didn't tell Michael, I didn't tell anyone, I kept it quiet, waiting for the right time, and after that wedding night humiliation, I knew exactly when the world would hear. Whispers began to spread in town. Folks saw me meeting with community leaders, signing papers at the courthouse. Jessica's parents caught wind and grew suspicious. One evening, I overheard her mother hissing into her phone, "What does that old man even have? He can barely afford a suit." Her father sneered, "It's nothing, he's bluffing." But I wasn't bluffing, and I didn't need to rush. Let them stew, let their arrogance rot from the inside out. I waited with the patience only age can teach. Michael grew tense. Dad, what's going on? They keep asking me if you're hiding something. I just smiled and said, Son, sometimes silence speaks louder than explanation. 2 weeks later, at a family gathering meant to celebrate the joining of two great families, I stood up. My knees ached, but my voice was steady. I've listened to many words these past months, some kind, some cruel. I've been called old, poor, irrelevant, but let me remind you, what you dismiss as weakness is often quiet strength. The room hushed. Jessica's parents rolled their eyes. I continued, that worthless land I clung to, just funded a foundation in my wife's memory, one that will provide scholarships for widows' children, pay medical bills for veterans, and keep struggling families afloat, and the honorary chair of that foundation will be my son, Michael. Gasps filled the air. Jessica's parents' faces drained of color, Michael's eyes welled up, and for the first time in years, I felt tall again. The room erupted in applause, not for wealth, not for status, for dignity, for sacrifice honored, for justice long delayed. Jessica's parents left early, their smug expressions shattered. The community saw them for what they were, people who measured worth only by bank accounts and cocktail parties. Michael hugged me, whispering, I'm sorry, Dad, I should have defended you. His tears wet my shoulder, and for the first time in years, I felt him see me, not as a burden, but as the man who raised him. That night, I returned to my porch, the sun dipped low, painting the Ohio sky orange. The foundation papers lay beside me, the American flag on my lawn swayed gently in the evening breeze. And I thought, maybe respect doesn't come from being loud, maybe it comes from standing tall, even when they try to bend you. So to anyone listening, don't let them tell you age makes you invisible, don't let them shame the years you've earned. Respect isn't given, it's lived, and sometimes, it must be reclaimed. If you believe dignity doesn't fade with age, share your story in the comments, I'd be honored to read them. And remember, the old still have teeth.